Hi friends, Alex Kai's here, and this is a home in Seattle. We're all moving a little bit slower after our Thanksgiving meals, and so is the real estate market. Okay, first let's talk about how data is released on the MLS. It's all released at the end of the month so that we get a whole month's worth of data. So we're going to be looking at November's numbers, even though it's December, and using that to think about how the market's going. And we're really concerned about not what the actual numbers are, but how they're changing over time and how they relate to each other. So let's start by looking at supply versus demand. So this is a graph of supply and demand, essentially the number of sales over the month and the number of listings. This is a whole year's worth of data from December to November. And we can see that, as they go up and down, we get this gap between number of sales and number of listings. So this gap is traditionally a really good time to buy because demand is a little bit lower and supply is a little bit higher. So there isn't as much competition. When they start to overtake each other, that's a really good time to be selling because you're going to expect multiple offers and the price is going to get bid up quite a bit. So this last month we saw a significant decrease in both supply and demand. It's actually a 30% drop from the month before. So this could be a really good time to buy. We could be going into the historically slower time of year. It got delayed a little bit because of quarantine, but we're starting to see things go back to normal. Okay, next is list price versus sales price and the ratio between the two. So this dotted line here is at 100%. So if a $500,000 house was listed for $500,000, that's how much it would sell for. And we haven't seen anything below that, meaning you couldn't really find a deal since December of last year. Since then, it's been going up. This high point was right before quarantine and was at about 104%. It's been fluctuating a little bit ever since. We're starting to go closer to 100%, and right now we're sitting at about 101%, meaning that houses are going for about 1% over list price right now. And this is a good metric because you can know about how much you're going to have to put an offer in on a house in order to actually get it. Okay, this is the last one for single family homes. And this is sales by price range. This is kind of a little bit different one than I normally look at, but I really like this because we can see what the most popular price range in Seattle is right now. And you can see right in the middle here, most people are buying a $650,000 house. So that is probably the most competitive house out there if you're in that price range. Okay, what if you're thinking about a condo for Christmas though? I'm in South Lake Union right now at this really pretty condo. So let's go have a look around. Condos are a whole nother story compared to single family homes. We've seen a ton of inventory hit the market over the past few months and people just aren't really buying them right now. There's a huge gap in listings versus sales and it's just been getting bigger as the year goes on. We're starting to see inventory drop a little bit as we head into December, and hopefully that means that people are starting to buy them and counting on urban areas starting to rebound. But it remains to be seen if things are going to go back to normal. Okay, let's make a cup of coffee, but I've been getting a lot of questions about the east side and how the market's going over there. So while the water's heating up, let's look at some data. Here's a graph of supply and demand, East Side edition. So again, we're looking at a year's worth of data, number of listings and number of sales. The gaps are good for buyers and the narrow portions are good for sellers. So you can see things are quite a bit different on the East Side compared to Seattle. It really ramped up quite a bit and it's still staying pretty high. The listings have dropped significantly, but demand is still up there. It seems like people are moving to the east side, or at least buying quite a bit over there. So you can expect quite a bit of competition still in wintertime over in Bellevue, Kirkland, and Renton areas. Okay, looking at supply and demand, things are heating up quite a bit on the east side, and that's really reflected in the sales price to list price ratio as well. Here we are, a year's worth of data. We can see that things, like in Seattle, heated up right before quarantine and dropped significantly. Now, Seattle, we see it starting to cool down a little bit. The east side, it's continuing to climb. We're at 103% right now, and right here, the blue dotted line, that's 100%. So things are still really competitive over there. So Seattle real estate is really on a roll still. Things haven't really slowed down, and that's partly because of low interest rates. We're seeing interest rates still in the 2.5% to 3%, and that's really spurring demand right now. I saw that Seattle's second in the country, right behind Phoenix, in terms of appreciation over the year. And we're sitting at, I think it was 10.1%. That's quite a bit. So we're going to see things slow down, I think, as the new year rolls around and Christmas time. But, this year has just been crazy, and it's hard to predict what's actually going to happen. We're in a transition period right now. If you need to sell, I'd do it ASAP before things start to really slow down for the holidays. And if you're looking to buy something, then I think mid-December is going to be a really good time to find a home. Until next time.